Hi, this is Tim from PencilPay. So here's a question. Why in a country that exports oceans of cheap energy do our manufacturers pay some of the highest power prices in the developed world? The access to cheap energy should be a birthright for every single Australian consumer and every Australian business, but that's not the way it's trending. And what's it doing to businesses? Watch.
36 years in business, but every year it just gets harder.
In retrospect, even COVID seems easier than this was.
Frustrated to hear another power price hike is imminent.
Nothing is going down. Everything is going up.
Australia's energy regulator approving price hikes for those on default market offers, about 500,000 households. New South Wales the hardest hit, increases up to 9.7%, South East Queensland up to 3.7%, and South Australia 3.2%. That's up to $280 a year. Small business hit too, up to 8.5%. The cause, infrastructure upkeep and rising wholesale costs, with questions over whether the nation's move to renewables is also adding pressure.
That is a transition that is underway. It's one that my government is continuing to support.
The regulator refusing interviews. A spokeswoman for Chair Claire Savage saying, "We don't want to be hiding. She's just got back-to-backs all day."
Cheap energy is why Australia had some of the highest wages in the world. It's why we enjoyed some of the best living standards on earth, because when energy's cheap, businesses can pay good wages, but the inverse is true as well. Since we signed net zero, our real wages have fallen to their lowest level since 2010. That's 15 years of decline, because the fastest way to destroy a really prosperous industrial economy is to jack up the cost of energy. 25 years ago, 1 in every 10 Australians worked in manufacturing. Today, it's 1 in every 15. Because as manufacturing disappears, skilled workers do too. Watch.
Workers like this make the moulds, tools and parts needed to keep local manufacturing alive. But there aren't enough of them.
This site was set up for rail. We still do a lot of rail. We export rail to Hong Kong, and we've had to knock back a lot of orders because we just don't have the staff to fulfil those orders.
Since the death of the Australian car making industry in 2017, the little-known trades of tool making and engineering pattern making have shrunk. The number of people employed in the sector fell 70% between 2006 and 2021. Just 411 of these jobs are held by people under the age of 40.
We've got people in their 70s who are still working in the industry on a hands-on trade because they love the industry. But we can't depend upon that. We have to have the young people coming through.
Businesses like this are a key part of the Australian manufacturing supply chain. Without them, the only other option is to go offshore, exposing the industry to global instability.
Australia's manufacturing base was a major industry in this country, a good ticket to good wages and a stable family life. Now it's gutted. There's a few key reasons, but energy costs are right at the top. Take smelting, gone. Take plastics, gone. Take urea or fertiliser made from natural gas, really critical to farmers to grow our food. But we don't want to make it because global warming. But we're still happy to import it. So think about that. For the first time since the first fleet, Australia cannot feed itself unless China, Iran or Qatar say so. Coincidence? Unfortunately not. Just bad decisions by governments, their cheerleaders in the media, and the not-for-profits paying activists to lie on motorways. So always remember, this is not about climate change. The alarmists gave the game away a long time ago. They say they want lower emissions, but they're effectively banned nuclear, which, by the way, is the cleanest, most reliable baseload power on Earth. And Australia, well, we're sitting on some of the largest deposits in the world. Here's something to think about. Back in 2005, Australia enjoyed some of the lowest energy costs in the developed world, while Japan's energy costs were 3 times ours. Fast forward 20 years, today we supply almost half of Japan's energy via uranium, cheap coal and cheap natural gas. and our price per kilowatt hour is the same. And what does Japan do with that energy? Well, they make things. They use it to build cars, electronics, and steel, things of real value. Then they sell it back to us while our factories close. And the most infuriating part, they also on-sell a significant portion for a profit. Japan buys excess, packages it up, and on-sells it to other countries. And here's the punchline. Japan now on-sells more Australian natural gas to third parties than Australia uses to service its east coast. So let's recap quickly. Australia, richest coal and gas reserves on Earth. Japan, no resources. Imports our energy, uses it to build cars and electronics. They resell the leftovers for billions. Meanwhile, we're paying record energy bills, watching industries collapse, wages fall, and families struggle. This isn't just bad policy. This kind of feels like sabotage. If Australia wants to protect domestic manufacturing, if we want to protect wages, if we want families to thrive, then we need cheap, reliable domestic baseload power. That means coal, that means gas, and yes, down the track, that means nuclear. Not ideology, not slogans, we need energy. Because without it, there's no manufacturing, no strong wages, and no future. Thanks for watching.